I remember standing in the kitchen, the morning light filtering through the blinds, painting stripes across the worn linoleum. Sarah was humming a tune, a familiar comfort as she made coffee. The smell of fresh grounds always reminded me of our early days, of a simpler time when everything felt new and exciting. Now it was just another morning, another Tuesday, another cup of coffee, another step in the slow dance of our predictable life. I loved her. I truly did. Or so I told myself. But there was a growing quiet in my heart, a space that used to echo with joy, now filled with a low thrum of discontent. I couldn't quite name it. A subtle aching, a sense that something vital was missing. Then Alara walked into my world, a whirlwind of bright colors and sharp wit. She joined our team at work, a new marketing associate full of ideas and an infectious energy that just vibrated through the office. I noticed her immediately, not in a predatory way, not at first, but in a way that pulled my gaze, made me listen. Little more intently when she spoke, her laughter was a melodic chime, a stark contrast to the quiet hum of my own life. We started talking about work projects, then about books, then about life dreams and fears. It was innocent enough. At first, harmless conversations after meetings over shared lunches, but the connection was undeniable. It felt like breathing fresh air after being underwater for too long. She saw things in me that I thought were buried deep down, things Sarah no longer seemed to notice, or perhaps I no longer showed them to Sarah the first time we stayed late together. Just the two of us brainstorming ideas for a new campaign. The office was empty, the silence broken only by the hum of the computers and our low voices. The air between us crackled with an unspoken energy. We talked for hours, not just about work, but about everything and nothing. And then her hand brushed mine as we reached for the same document. A fleeting touch, but it sent a jolt through me. A jolt I hadn't felt in years. My heart hammered against my ribs, a wild rhythm I tried to ignore but couldn't. I felt a warmth spread through me, a forbidden warmth. And in that moment I knew I was on a dangerous path, a path I was already too eager to follow. The guilt started almost immediately, a heavy cloak that settled on my shoulders. Every time I looked at Sarah, every time she smiled at me, every time she spoke of our future, I felt a knot tighten in my stomach. I would lie about working late, about client dinners, about sudden deadlines. The lies tasted bitter on my tongue, but they were necessary to create the space I needed. The space for Alara, the space for this new, intoxicating thrill. I rationalized it, telling myself it wasn't real. It was just a friendship, an emotional connection, a momentary lapse in judgment, a way to rediscover parts of myself. I thought I had lost, but with each stolen moment, each shared secret, each knowing glance across a crowded room, the line between friendship and something more blurred, until it vanished completely. The first kiss was unexpected and yet inevitable. We were leaving a late-night event, a charity gala I was supposed to be at with Sarah. But I'd made up an excuse about a stomach bug. The city lights twinkled around us, a glittering backdrop to my unraveling world. We stood outside her apartment building, the air cool and crisp. Alara looked up at me, her eyes shining with an unspoken question. And then she leaned in, and I met her halfway. It was soft and hesitant at first, then hungry and desperate, a confirmation of everything I had been denying to myself for weeks. My mind screamed, "No," my heart yelled, "Yes." And my body responded without hesitation. The taste of her lips, the scent of her hair, the way her hand found the back of my neck. It was a surrender, a complete and utter giving in to the temptation I had fought and failed to resist. After that, there was no turning back. The affair became a secret life, a parallel universe I inhabited during the day and late into the night. It was exhilarating, terrifying, and utterly consuming. I felt alive in a way I hadn't felt in years with Sarah. Our relationship had become a comfortable sweater, warm, familiar, but a little worn. A little stretched, Alara was a spark, a wild flame that threatened to burn down everything I had built. And I let it. I reveled in it. I craved it. The risk, the thrill, the feeling of being wanted, of being seen, of being desired. I told myself it was just a phase, a momentary escape, a way to cope with the stresses of my life, a way to find myself again. But each time I was with Alara, I felt further and further away from the person I was supposed to be, the person I had promised to be. The lies grew more elaborate, more frequent. I became a master of deception, juggling two separate realities, two different versions of myself to Sarah. I was the loving husband, a little tired from work, perhaps a little distant but still devoted, still committed to Alara. I was her confidant, her lover, her escape, the man who understood her in ways no one else did. The guilt was a constant companion, a shadow that followed me everywhere, a voice in the back of my mind whispering warnings. But the adrenaline of the double life, the sheer excitement of it often drowned out the whispers. I felt like a puppet master pulling strings, controlling my own destiny. But in reality, I was a puppet of my own desires, my own weaknesses. The fear of discovery was a constant gnawing presence. Sometimes I would wake up in a cold sweat, convinced Sarah knew, convinced she had seen a text, found a stray receipt, or noticed the subtle changes in my behavior. I scrutinized her every glance, her every question, searching for signs of suspicion, but she remained oblivious, or so it seemed. Her trusting nature was a double-edged sword. It made the deception easier, but it also magnified my guilt, made me feel like an even bigger monster. I kept telling myself I would end it. I would confess, I would choose. But the thought of losing Alara, the vibrant spark she brought into my life, was unbearable. And the thought of hurting Sarah, of shattering her world, of destroying everything we had built, was equally paralyzing. I was stuck in a self-made prison of my own making, unable to move forward, unable to go back. I started to see Sarah through a different lens. The gentle habits I once found endearing now seemed mundane. Her quiet presence felt like a judgment, her unwavering love a burden. I knew it wasn't fair. I knew I was projecting my own failures onto her, but I couldn't help it. The contrast between the two women became stark. Alara represented passion, spontaneity, excitement. Sarah represented stability, history, comfort. And I was greedy. I wanted both. I wanted the thrill of the new and the security of the old. I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. A childish desire with devastating adult consequences. There were moments when I almost confessed. Moments when the weight of the lies became too much to bear. I would sit across from Sarah at dinner, her eyes warm and loving, and the words would form on my tongue, burning to be spoken. But then I would look at her face, at the innocent trust in her eyes, and the fear would grip me. A fear so profound, it silenced me. The fear of her tears, the fear of her anger, the fear of losing her respect, her love. Everything. I was afraid to be alone, afraid to face the consequences of my actions. I was a coward, a weak man trapped by my own deceit. The affair continued for months, a twisted dance of stolen moments and elaborate lies. Each encounter with Alara deepened, The emotional entanglement made it harder to break free. I found myself caught in a web of my own making, unable to escape. Each day was a performance, each interaction a lie, each moment of happiness with Alara tainted by the shadow of Sarah. My life became a blur of fragmented experiences, a constant state of anxiety and longing. I was a stranger to myself, a man I no longer recognized, lost in the labyrinth of my own infidelity. The internal monologue never ceased, a relentless barrage of justifications, accusations, and self-pity. I told myself Sarah had grown distant, that we had drifted apart, that I was just seeking connection, that everyone makes mistakes, that I deserved to be happy. But deep down, I knew it was all rationalization, a flimsy excuse for my own selfishness, my own weakness. I knew I was breaking sacred vows, desecrating a trust that had been built over years. I was tearing down the foundations of my own life, brick by painful brick. Sometimes I wondered if Alara knew the depth of my deception, if she saw the guilt in my eyes or the tremor in my hands when I spoke of Sarah. She never pressed, she never questioned, she just accepted my stolen time, my hurried departures, my vague explanations, and in a way that made it even worse, her silent complicity, her willingness to be part of my secret world, made me feel even more trapped, even more responsible for the mess I had created. There was no easy way out, no clean break, no path that didn't involve immense pain and destruction. I saw the way Sarah looked at me, sometimes a quiet sadness in